Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's the first video that we've done for a while. We've all been a little bit ill, but hopefully we're recovering. And what we're going to do today is we're going to show you what seeds you can plant in February. I know it's still a little bit cold, but there's still plenty of seeds that you can get planted and get started for an early start to the season. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to split this video into two sections. So the first section is going to cover those seeds that you can plant quite comfortably outside, and then the second section is going to cover those seeds that are going to need a little bit more protection. So let's get started and let's get showing you what seeds you can plant in February.
Dad!
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing. I'm so okay.
So the first seeds that we've got on our list today are peas. Peas are a good one that you can start, especially in these gutters. And if you get them started nice and early, you can get in for an early crop. If you're going to start them direct in the ground outside, March is a better month to do it. But if you're going to start them in gutters like this or in containers, now's a perfect time. What we're going to do now is we're going to get this gutter filled with compost and we're going to get these peas planted. Let's spread that out.
Can I get one?
Let's spread. Now the way I want you to plant these seeds
Fives.
is into fives, absolutely brilliant. So the way we like planting these seeds is in a figure of 5.
The dice.
So just like the face of a dice.
Maybe they
And
would
that's
like to do the seeds.
And that's the pattern that we like to follow
Seeds.
all the way across. Once these seeds have germinated, we'll move this gutter. We'll just slide them straight out the gutter into the ground, so they won't stay in this gutter permanently. Okay, enough. There we go. Okay, so that's our peas done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move these peas into the greenhouse. So we're going to move these into a cold, unheated greenhouse. I'm going to leave them there to germinate. It'll take a couple of weeks, but don't worry, they'll come up.
Woo!
The next thing I'm going to plant now are radishes. And radishes are a good one that you can plant, especially at this time of year, under glass, because they're really cold tolerant. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a small little row. And I'm going to plant my radishes here. There's a dandelion that's creeped in. Let's get rid of that. I've still got my chilli plants that I've overwintered. They are looking a little bit worse for wear, but they are still green. I assure you they are still green, so I'm expecting quite a few of these to come back to life very shortly. Yes, you can. And the radishes that we're going to plant
And
is...
this one is the colour.
And the radishes that we're going to plant are called...
And this one is the colour.
Yes. They're called Lungo Rosso. They're a nice red variety, and we're quite fond of these ones actually. We grow these every year, and it's always one that we start early every year. So I do like these ones. Come here.
The colour.
Yeah, these are radishes. And just okay, here. You put that one there.
What?
That one there. So no, don't push it in. Don't push it in. Just drop it on top. Just drop it on top like this. That's it. Good man. So yeah, these are ones that they'll grow to about 6 to 8 inches long, and they'll be a nice early crop when not a lot of other things are growing. So that's one row of radishes sown there, and we'll keep coming back and we'll sow a few more. I've got a couple of more seeds that Zaki's just dirtied, so rather than put them back in the packet, I'll just put a row in that way underneath. I'll gently cover these up.
I need another one.
No, that's it. You don't need any more. That's it, done. Now another seed that's still very good to plant at this time of year are broad beans. I mean, these are some that are planted in January, and as you can see, they're coming up really nice. And these will be ready to plant out in the next few weeks. So as soon as they get to about 6 inches tall, these are getting planted into the ground. If you wanted to, you wanted to plant a hardy variety of broad beans like Acco Dulce, you could plant those direct into the ground anytime the ground's not frozen, and they'll be fine. But what we're doing with these is we've started them off a little bit earlier inside, and we'll plant these once they get to about 6 inches tall. So there's lots of seeds that you can get started now. I mean, these are all brassicas, and brassicas are a good one to start now because they need a long growing season. And what we're going to do today is we're going to start planting a couple of brassicas that we do really like. One of the brassicas that I really like are kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is an absolutely brilliant one for us. In Bangla we call it shalgam. It's a really versatile vegetable that we really do like. So let's get some of these started. And all of these are perfectly fine to start in unheated conditions. I've got my sifted compost ready. And these are a variety called White Delicacy. It's the first time I'm actually trying these ones. Normally we do grow white kohlrabi. But they normally have some funky names to them, and I'm not going to try and pronounce them and mangle the names like I usually do and give you all a bit of a laugh. But let's see what these are like. We normally grow the purple delicacy ones as well, and they come out quite well. So there's my kohlrabi in. Just give them a gentle cover. And I'll give that a little water. With these, I'm just going to leave them in an unheated greenhouse and leave them to germinate here. They don't need any sort of protection at this time of year. They're fine. I know the weather's a little bit cold still, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Don't worry about things like this. They're extremely hardy, so don't worry about them. So other brassicas you can plant is you can start with some cabbages, you can start with cauliflowers. These are good ones to start as well now. Pak choy is brilliant. Pak choy for me is a 12-month of the year crop, so you can plant that. For me, that's one that you can plant throughout the year and you get good results with that. Same with mixed salad leaves. So what we'll also do is we'll get some lettuces, and we'll get some, especially the leafy type of lettuces, and the cosset lettuces, the really loose leaf lettuces. They're another one that's, for me, is a 12-month a year type of plant. So get those planted now. And if you want some hearting lettuces, plant those in a couple of weeks, and you can get them planted out into the garden in early March, and you'll be fine with them. So another really good one for this time of year, carrots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to harvest the last lot of my carrots from my raised bed that's in my old wheelbarrow in the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to get these carrots planted out into that. I'm going to refresh the compost. Remember, carrots don't like a lot of nutrition in the compost, so I'll refresh the compost a little bit there, and I'll get some more carrots planted in. We did plant some last month, so I'm just waiting for them to grow a little bit more before I do some more sowings in pots. Carrots are going to be fine to get growing this month. Onions and leeks are another one that you can get started now. So these onions are called Stuttgarter. So what I do is every couple of weeks is I plant a couple of trays of onions throughout the start of the season just to keep me going, and I've got successional sowings and successional harvests. But onions are a really good one. They're really hardy. You can't go wrong with these at all. Just plant them and forget about them. So we've come inside now. It's getting a little bit cold outside, so let's get on with the seeds that we're going to plant inside. And it's still a good time to be planting chilies. I mean, these are some chilies that I planted last month. And these are the chilies that I did in my video about planting chilies, soaking them in tea overnight. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go and check that video out. I'll leave a link for it up here. But it's a really good tip on getting really good germination on super hot chilies. And these are a habanero pepper, and look, you can see them. They're looking really nice and plush. I mean, another one that I focused a lot on last month was planting aubergines, because aubergines need a really long growing season to get you through to fruiting. It's still a good time to plant aubergines. So this is what I've got spread out over here. Aubergines are really good. I mean, the varieties that I really like, that I've had a lot of success with, are Italian, you know, the long purple varieties. That's one that has been really good for me. Black Beauty and Listed Gandia small purple and white variety, and that's done okay. Black Beauty's not done too bad either. If you've still got chilies to plant, I've still got some to plant here. One variety is, what's it called? Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, and that's a variety I've not grown before, so I'm looking forward to growing that. What else have we got? So like I mentioned earlier, lettuce is perfectly fine to get outside. The one that I want to go really heavy on right now is I want to go and plant a lot of tomatoes. In my January planting video, you saw that I planted a variety called Tomato Outdoor Girl. Because they're designed to be an outdoor variety, they're slightly more hardy than the rest of the varieties. And the ones that I'm going for today, I mean, Amish paste is one that I grow regularly. I've got 2 greenhouses this year at my disposal, so I want to go quite heavy on tomatoes and get a good crop. And I'm not just going for greenhouse only tomatoes. What I'm doing is I'm going for a good mix of tomatoes that will be okay outside, as well as tomatoes that can grow in a greenhouse. The ones that we're planting today are six different varieties that we're going to go and plant today. If you're someone who gets hit by blight a lot, then these early sowings of tomatoes really make the difference, because the more mature a plant, the earlier they fruit, and because they fruit a little bit earlier, you're getting fruit in July, towards the end of June, July, instead of getting them in August and September. And these are seeds that you will need a little bit of heat on. A little bit of heat is good to get these germinated. So let's have a look at the ones. I've already got these labelled up. I want to try and be a bit more careful around labelling this year, and because I'm really poor at labelling, so I'm being a bit more strict on my labelling this year. Because tomatoes germinate so easily, there's absolutely no need to soak these overnight or anything. You can just go ahead and get these planted into some damp compost and you're away. And this first variety that I'm planting, this is called Brandywine Pink. So let's go for 6 of these. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. I dropped 2. Let's just move that one over there, and that's okay. This next one's a variety called Honeybee. It's one that I've not grown before, so we'll see what this is like. I'm just going to plant these with tomatoes. You find, if you haven't got the space, you find planting them quite thick, quite heavily in pots like this, because they don't mind having the roots disturbed at all. You can pick them up, you can prick them out, you can move them, not a problem at all. I'm going for quite a few of the big beef steak varieties this year. So that's why I've gone for one called Brandywine Crush already. Brandywine Pink, and now I'm planting this one called Gigantimo. So let's see if I can catch up with some of the giant veg growers and see if this one lives up to its name, and see if we can get a couple of big tomatoes and see what happens with them. Again, I'm going to just plant 6 of these, and hopefully they'll grow into some nice plants for me. So that's Gigantimo. It's an F1 variety, and you'll need to be inside a greenhouse with these. I saw a lot of people have a lot of good success with this, and I was quite impressed with the tomatoes that people were getting last year. And this one's called Marmande. So let's have a look. Let's have a go at growing these Marmande ones. I'm not going to try and pronounce the rest of it. You know me, I'll make a mash of that. So let's get these in. Now the next one that I'm going to go for is one called Crimson Crush. Now with these Crimson Crush, they're supposed to be a blight resistant variety, so these are going to be good for growing outside again, and they're not a huge tomato either. So let's see what these turn out to be. Realistically, blight is one of those things that is our biggest concern when it comes to growing tomatoes. We do get blight around September, October time, and it does wipe out a lot of our tomato crop when they should be coming up to harvest time. So that's why we go for early sowings, and then we can get an early crop of them. And this last variety that I'm planting, this is called Sweet Million, and these are slightly bigger than a cherry tomato. They might even be classed as a cherry tomato, but I'll tell you now, I had such I didn't grow them last year, but I grew them the year before, and I had such amazing results with these. I mean, on one truss of tomatoes, I was probably getting 20 little tomatoes, and the trusses are absolutely massive. It's like they fork out, and then you get a truss on top of a truss. These are the most productive tomato I've ever grown, and I'll tell you now, they're not a bad tasting tomato either. So if we get the same results as we did with these that we've had in the past, then I'll be a happy boy. So they're my Sweet Million planted, and I'm quite happy with that. So let's get these seeds covered up, and let's get these into a propagator. With these, what I'll do is I will give them a water, and then I will get them on a heated propagator, just to get them started off. If you haven't got a heated propagator, just keep them on a south facing windowsill. They will take a little bit longer to germinate, but they will germinate. So that's the real big one that I want to go for this month, is get your tomatoes planted. A lot of people will tell you about the fact that tomatoes can get a little bit leggy because of the lack of light. If you are worried about lack of light with your tomatoes, plant them, wait another couple of weeks and then plant them, but get them planted this month so you do get that super early crop and you're not lagging behind with everyone else. If you ever do get leggy tomatoes, there are remedies to sort it out. All you have to do is plant tomatoes deep, or just take the suckers and plant them on, and you'll get 3 young plants. I'm going to carry on planting these. I'll give them a water, get them on heat. If you haven't got a heated propagator, get them near a radiator on a warm windowsill, and they will germinate. Trust me. So I'm going to leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.